Hey guys, how you guys doing? So I know it's been a while since the last video. I think it's been like about a couple months since I posted a video. But honestly, I do want to apologize for that. Just to be real with you guys, I just been busy with life. A couple things have changed, and of course these are like good changes. But again, these things just took a lot of time out of me, and I've been adjusting to a lot of these good new changes in my life. Um, but anyway, I'm gonna be still focusing on making videos for this channel, but I kind of just had a moment not too long ago, and I kind of realized the kind of videos I really want to make. So instead of just regular kind of just tutorials on like how to repair this laptop and how to repair that, I'm gonna be just more so ranting a little bit because there are definitely tons of repair videos out there, and I don't really want to keep just constantly making the same video, just repairing this, repairing that, and repairing that, and repairing that. Unless if I get some really like interesting repairs, like some really like just straight up destroyed laptops, then of course I'll more so just talk about how like incredibly messed up that laptop is. But if it's like a regular laptop, then more than likely you guys will just hear me just talk or maybe rant about maybe a tech topic or something in mind that I just really want to just talk about or even get off my chest. Um, but anyway, with that out of the way, the only other thing that I do really want to mention here is that I still will be making like tutorials on certain things. So there will be a couple of like tutorial guides, or like I would say like a couple of playlists. I'll make some playlists of just like me showing you guys how to repair laptops, how to repair this, and a couple other like tutorials as well. But anyway, with that out of the way, let's go ahead and get into today's topic, which today I want to talk about why I understand people who buy pre-built PCs. Which, before you guys start to go in the comments talking about, yo, why would people buy pre-builds? Like, pre-builds are just a waste of money. Like, literally, they're bad. Like, you should just build a PC, or like you should just like do this or do that. And listen, before you guys judge, you know before you guys say anything about pre-builds and stuff like that, I do just want to say the main reason why I understand is because, first, trying to figure out what parts you need for your new PC or for the PC that you want to build is confusing, and it's hard to tell what parts are good, what parts are not good, what you should watch out for, what people recommend or don't really recommend. It's just annoying. And the main reason why I say that is because, like, there are so many tech channels that makes tons of videos, basically going into detail about certain parts and also doing a bunch of benchmarks. But the main problem that I have with some of those like tech channels is that a lot of times, whenever they do all these benchmarks, my biggest thing is that they don't really explain like why does like this matter. Like whenever they do the benchmarks, they don't really explain like the numbers that they get and how does it really like affects like actual performance, or actually or how does it like affect basically like real life performance. So for example, there would be like tons of benchmarks for, like, let's say for video editing, right? Or for playing video games. There's gonna be so many benchmarks, or just like they'll make basically like videos upon videos about like benchmarking CPUs, GPUs, RAM, so many other components, just so that you can like see like the numbers to see like what component has like the better numbers in the benchmarks. But they will never really show you too much about real world performance. Like for example, they'll never show you how it is scrubbing through like a 4K like timeline, or they will never really like show you like how long did it take to render this like high professional like video. How long did it take for this GPU to render just with this like video with like all of these effects on it or everything. They won't really show you that, and they'll just again show you benchmarks and numbers, and they'll show you all that. But again, how is the numbers going to help me figure out what device I should get? Sorry for the microphone. But that's kind of the problem. And a lot of tech channels, they keep doing that. Tech 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 channels, they just keep doing that. And honestly, for me, I really feel like it's not really a good thing. Because for the average, people, again, for the average person out there, they're not really gonna understand why they should care about these numbers. It's like, imagine I told you that, imagine you're basically looking for a car, right? You're looking for a car and you want just like, a good, like decently priced car, right? And then I'm like, and then you're looking at like, let's say like I don't know, like what's a good, I guess, car brand? Like, let's say looking at a BMW and I guess a Lexus, right? You're looking at one of those two cars, and you ask me for like what's really the difference, and then I say besides like brand, oh, this one. If we look at these like car benchmarks, the BMW was able to beat the Lexus and how fast it could go, but the Lexus could beat the BMW and how much gas it consumes. So if you want a car that could go fast but uses a lot of gas, then BMW. But if you want a car that doesn't use a lot of gas but doesn't go as fast, then Lexus. And it's like, it kind of does help, but it's like, how bad does it affect it? Because maybe it might be worth for the BMW to use a lot of gas to go fast or something if you really need to go fast, or maybe the Lexus might be a better option. But again, I'm just saying that as an example. I'm not really saying that as like a real life scenario. I'm just saying that that's kind of just an example, just for people out there to understand what I'm really trying to talk about here. But that's the thing. That's like what happens when it comes to like all these tech videos and all these reviews. Whenever they review CPUs, GPUs, and other components like RAM, and SSDs and stuff like that, they constantly do benchmarks instead of like real case scenarios. I think honestly, instead of benchmarks, I really wish that a lot of these channels, they like would show you how long does it take for a 4K or even 8K video to export, or maybe how long does a 1080p video take to export. Because a lot of people who are making videos more than likely are making videos in 1080p. They're not making videos in 4K just yet, even though they could if they want to. Because for the most part, I think most people out there, they have like iPhones or high-end Samsung phones that could do like 4K videos. So it is an option, but some people out there, they don't really have, I guess, the the PC power that could really handle 4K videos, or can really just be able to do that stuff. And even then, another thing is, people also don't know, like, they don't know what like components could, or like what is like the bare minimum for 4K. They think, okay, I need like the highest components just for that, just to be able to do 4K. And it's like, no, not really. There are like some like other components that are cheaper, can do 4K, may take a little longer to render, but they can still scrub through like a 4K timeline just as well. And people normally don't really talk about that. They just talk about benchmarks. Oh, let's look at these benchmarks. Let's look at the percentage differences. Like, it makes it more confusing, and it just makes it more harder to really figure out, okay, what should I go for? And a lot of times also, like, some of these videos, there's like, again, these fanboys who like really care about the brand, like AMD fanboys, Nvidia fanboys, Intel fanboys. It's so annoying. And I'm just like, yo, they're all companies at the end of the day. It's not like one of them is like some indie company, the other one's like some big tech company. Like, they're all like big, like multi-millionaire companies. I think one of those a billionaire company. I think, yeah, Nvidia is like a multi-billionaire company. Not 100% sure, but basically, yeah, it's just like, at the end of the day, they're all big tech companies. So I don't really see the point of like really being a fanboy over them. But again, hey, that's just me. That's just me. But getting back to the whole entire point of this video, the main reason why I also made this video too was because and I'll share you guys a little personal story. Recently I've been looking for like a PC, or like thinking about like what kind of like components I want to pick for my future PC, because I want to build like a PC that will last me a long time, like a PC that I would never need to upgrade for like 10 plus years. I just want to look for like the best killer PC. But then I realized something. I was like, oh wait, if I go for these components, like if I go for like AMD components, when it comes like to idle wattage, or like when it comes to like, you know, other things, it may not be good. Because the thing about it is, like, for me, I don't really live alone just yet. Like, I still live like with my family, stuff like that. And so, of course, I don't want them to complain about how the power bill is just expensive as fuck. Excuse my French. But that's the thing. I don't want them to complain about that, because when it comes to PCs draw a lot of power. And people don't really know exactly how much they draw, but they draw a lot. That's another thing they also got to keep in mind when it comes to, like, you know, picking up components too, is like how much does, you know, your part draws. Because there are CPUs nowadays that can draw literally 300 watts of power, which is a lot. And not only that, but GPUs are also very power consuming nowadays. So like when it comes to that, it's like, again, you're having a 300 watt, you know, CPU, plus like also again a 200 watt like GPU, or even 300 watt GPU, and it's just like, it's so much. And then plus you know, you got like the hard drives as well, and other like things that are like plugged into your motherboard. So it's like the more stuff that's like plugged into your motherboard, the more wattage is going to be used. And sometimes like the idling watts is also not going to be good as well. So it's just, that's just one of the things. And it's like, for me, I want to have like both like a high performing system, but also like a still a system that's not going to make the power bill go crazy high. And honestly, it's hard to just have like basically both of like best worlds. And that's just kind of the sad thing about it, is that like there's really not much you can do. But I know you guys are also kind of like, well, you basically went on the whole entire like rant about like how hard it is to like find like a really good PC. You never really went into why you understand people, why people buy pre-builds. And that's the whole entire point. The whole entire point of me going into like that long rant of how hard it is to like find like good PC parts is that, you know, again, I understand people literally, I understand people like literally buy pre-builds, because when it comes to pre-builds, whenever you buy a pre-built from like a PC company, they already kind of just did everything for you. Like, you know, most of the times they keep it really simple, really easy. You know, if you just want like a simple gaming system, and a gaming system that could also possibly do like other things, like maybe like video editing or video production, or even maybe like 3D like animations, or even like, again, like, you know, some effects, whatever. They have like, you know, tiers for those kind of PCs, and they have like some pretty good prices. Like most like pre-built companies, they at most will probably like, I guess, upcharge like at least like $200 for like the PC that they build. So honestly, that's not too bad. Some of them even upcharge like around like 150. That may not include shipping and everything, but still, for the most part, a lot of like these PC pre-builds, they do charge a pretty good, decent price for some of these PCs. And even though, of course, some people are still going to say, well, it's cheaper if you can make it, if you make it by yourself, or if you make it, you know, on your own, or if you, you know, find your own parts and just like watch a YouTube tutorial on how to build it together. Which, yeah, obviously the building part is not the hardest part. It's the part of like finding the parts and finding the right correct parts that, you know, work with this, that work with that. And that part can get pretty confusing and also stressful, because like there may be a certain part that, like, you know, people may recommend that might be better, and you're like, maybe I might want to go for this better part. But then you're also like, but also this better part seems to also have some negative views, and there's these benchmarks that say that this part has these that are like, good in this area but bad in this area, and it's just this constant back and forth of trying to figure out what's good and what's right and which one should you go for, which one should you not go for. And it's annoying, and it's stressful. And I've been there, and I've been in that area where it's just like I'm just constantly just sitting there trying to figure out what part is good. Like, should I go for that? Should I go for this? It's just and it stresses you out too. So that's why I understand why people go for pre-builds. Even though I don't really go into too many details about why people go into pre-builds, or like why, I understand. Basically, that's the main point. I understand why people go into pre-builds because of how difficult it is to even figure out what components you need to get. And I know I didn't really go into every little inch and every little detail about like, every single component when it comes to like building a PC, but that's the thing. There are so many little things that add up, and there's just so much more that I could literally talk about. Like literally if I could, like literally this video would take me so much longer if I went to every little inch and nook and cranny when it comes to PC components. Like if I went to talk about CPUs, what type of CPUs they are, how many cores you really need in a CPU, or basically GPUs, what kind of GPU should you go for, the difference between like AMD, Nvidia, or even Intel GPUs, or even RAM, like RAM speeds, DDR5, DDR4, DDR3, or even SSDs and hard drives. Should you even get a hard drive? The speed difference, booting speeds. There's just so much more. There's just so many things to just talk about when it comes to PCs. It's a lot. And then I'm still not even done. I even talk about power supplies, what type of power supply you should get, the power supply ratings, the PSU golds, power efficiency. I didn't even finish talking about like, PC cases. Or even the motherboards and the different standards, or like different sizes, like ATX, MATX, ITX, I think, right? And then EATX, which is basically ATX but a little bit wider or bigger. And it's just so much more that I could just talk about for days. And it's like there's a lot, and it's like it's a lot. It's just a lot. And it's also super easy to make mistakes. Like there are definitely probably tons of people out there who probably bought the wrong RAM for the system. They thought that they could just buy any old RAM and it'll just work. And it turns out when they try to put it in their motherboard, they end up either breaking the stick or breaking the motherboard RAM slots. So now they have to probably get a brand new motherboard, and it's just and it's a lot. But again, that's why I understand that people want to buy pre-built systems.